Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Marco and I work with the Google News Lab. Last March, we announced the Google News Initiative, which is the company-wide effort to help journalism thrive in the digital age. And the News Lab lives within the empowering scope of the Google News Initiative to empower news organizations through technological innovation. The Google News Lab is a team that works with journalists and entrepreneurs around the world to drive innovation in the news industry. And we work with 4 main areas that are big challenges for journalists today. And we build coalitions, training, research, and partnerships based on these 4 focus areas: trust and misinformation, local news, inclusive journalism, and emerging technologies. And these are areas that are big challenges for journalists, but they are also big challenges for Google. And we can do great things together. So for example, for trust and misinformation, because lots of people are using the internet now and are sharing things online, we can see more and more people participating in the conversation. But it's also really hard to differentiate noise from signal, quality content from bad content. So you can see that this is a challenge for journalists, but it's a challenge for platforms as well. And that is the same for the 3 other focus areas that we have. We're a global team. We're based in many countries. Every blue area that you see on this map is where we have training and partnerships efforts, and every black pin is where we have a person that's driving Google News Lab initiatives in that place. This is what our team looks like here in Latin America. I'm the Google News Lab lead for Brazil. We also have Kayla in Brazil, our trends curator. She sits with us in São Paulo. And here in Argentina, we have Juan Manuel Lucero, who recently has expanded his role from a teaching fellow to the News Lab lead in Argentina. We're very happy and proud to have Juan with us. So 2018 is an intense year for elections in our region. We had elections in Costa Rica in the beginning of the year, Colombia, Mexico, and Brazil, all of them general elections to elect new presidents. Brazil is coming up in October. And our main focus this year was to see what we could do to empower journalists in Colombia, Mexico, and Brazil. And this is a presentation I'm going to try to talk about 2 main topics: Google Trends and verification. Let's start with Google Trends. You should check it out, trends.google.com. We've built a new Explorer page that's based on discovery. Google Trends now works for over 100 countries. So if you didn't see your country before and it's been a while since you last checked Google Trends, check it out now. Chances are that you might be able to see trends going for your country as well. And we have some of the insights and some pages and some tutorials to teach you how to use Google Trends. I mentioned Kayla earlier. She's our trends curator. And she follows what's happening in Google closely, the trending topics on Google, so that she can help journalists in the region to find what's most interesting to you. She also builds hubs, so pages, special pages in Google Trends with interesting topics. This one in the top is from the International Women's Day, but we have for Father's Day, Oscars, football competitions, and things like that. But the hubs that we're really proud of, we have one for the World Cup as well. It was the first time that we built pages, especially for the World Cup here in the region. We had 11 pages, including for all of the countries that participated in the World Cup this year. Sadly, we couldn't bring the cup home this time, maybe next time. But we had 11 pages with insights, real-time insights of what people were searching for during the World Cup. The hubs that we're really proud of are the hubs that we can build around elections, because it's a powerful moment. People use Google to search for information a lot, and we can expose this data, this behavior in these special pages. And we've done this in Colombia for the presidential elections with searches for regions and for candidates and for top issues. We also built a data studio dashboard. It was the first time we've done this for elections, and we used the small multiples to show region by region the search interest for each candidate. And let me pause real quickly for a shameless self-plug. This afternoon at 1:30 p.m., we'll have a workshop about Data Studio. It's a new tool by Google that helps you build interactive dashboards that you can share with your friends and have people edit the dashboard with you in real time. And we can show you how we built this and more today at Sala Auditório, 1:30 p.m. So you're all invited. Okay, we're back. We also partner with news organizations that want to use Google data to tell different stories. And in Colombia, we partner up with Revista Semana, and they are power users of Google Trends. They used Google Trends even before we had a trends curator in the region. And this time around, because the Google Trends pages that we build and the visualizations that we build, they are all shareable, they built their own Google Trends data hub of sorts on their own homepage, and they were able to mix with their analysis, and the final result is this. So really proud to have worked with Revista Semana in this for the first time in the region. We also worked with La Nación in Argentina last year. It was our pilot experiment to work with Google Trends data for elections, and we worked with Revista Semana in Colombia this year. Let me tell you why Google Trends data might be interesting to you and might be interesting for journalists. First is the scale. Google Trends data is immense. It's massive. It's the largest publicly available data set in the world. People use Google all the time to find information, and there is a bazillion of searches that are done every year. So scale is something that you will find in Google Trends data. Second is authenticity. It's honesty. The relationship that people have with Google is very different from the relationship that they have with other platforms. While we might curate our photos, edit our texts, and kind of project an image that we want to project in other platforms, in Google, this relationship is very different because it's very intimate. People might ask questions in Google that they might feel too embarrassed to ask in public. And this gives you an honesty that you can't find elsewhere. So it's an honest reflection of user interest. And third, immediacy. Google Trends data, we offer this data in real time. You can search from 2004 in chunks of months, but if you want to know what happened up to 7 days ago, we can give you minute-by-minute stats. So if something happens around the world, it's very likely that people that use Google, they will go to as a second screen to find out what's happening right now. So it's like feeling the pulse of the world that uses Google in real time. So it's no surprise that we also built a Google Trends election hub in Mexico. This hub featured also data studio dashboards and information about the candidates for the first round and also the second round. We have this graphics called horse race that you see the rise and fall of search interest for each of the candidates, and it's very interactive. You can also open your cell phone. And we've done this in Brazil as well. But in Brazil, we haven't done a full-fledged data hub yet. We've done this for the first presidential debate. It was the first time we've done a hub for a presidential debate in the region because it's a little different. For the elections, we have a hub that talks about months worth of data. For the presidential debate, this is a hub that's valid for like 4 hours. That you can see graphics that in real time show the search interest for the candidates and for the topics. And we'll have a hub for Brazil as well coming soon, as early as next week, actually. So you should check that out. While we're in Brazil, let me tell you how we brought also for the first time in the region Google Trends data for TV. While people used the Trends Hub as a second screen, we also took this opportunity to work with folks at Pitch Interactive, which is a data visualization organization in the US. And we've built a system that could generate in real time visuals that talked about search interest, especially for TV, that could be consumed on TV, about the interest on candidates and also interest in topics and much more. We partner up with Band TV in Brazil. It's a broadcaster. They were the ones that hosted the presidential debate. And we're really proud to have worked with us. We also built a massive spin room right next to the studio where the debate happened for 150 journalists. And they could check this information in real time with us. All of the visuals were there available to them. And we also had commentary, data analysis before, during, and after debate. And the debate was very successful in terms of audience. 25 million people watched it on TV, and it was the most watched live event in YouTube Brazil, with almost 400,000 people watching it lively concurrently. And we also built a second screen in Data Studio that people could access this data through a system that we developed, especially for the presidential debate, something that we'd never done before in any region in the world. We developed a system that calculated automatically the rising topics and the rising candidates, a calculation that is somewhat complicated to do manually, and we were able to do it for the Brazilian elections for the first time. And when we do this partnership with newsrooms, this is where Google data, the Google Trends data really shines. When we partner up with data storytelling experts, that's where we can get new insights and new ways of understanding the events that are happening in the outside world. That's why we partner up with Animal Político in Mexico. Folks at Animal Político, they have an amazing team, and they built a data exploration interactive focused on mobile devices to understand the election through the lens of Google Trends data. It was the first time that we've done this kind of partnership here in Latin America, and we're very proud to have worked with Animal Político on this. There's also one coming up for Brazil soon. It's going to be published the same day that the Google Trends Data Hub will be published, so early next week, so you should check it out as soon as it's out. Still in Mexico, and shifting gears a little bit to talk about verification, we're very proud and very honored to be supporters of something that you will hear more tomorrow, Verificado, which was a massive coalition of news organizations to fight misinformation online. And not only Google participated as a supporter, other platforms as well, other funders, and we're very thrilled with the results. They were fact-checking political discourse and also debunking a lot of the misinformation that was flying around during the Mexican elections. And this is important. This is important because it represents a shift in the industry in terms of collaboration in the journalism. Google has been a supporter of this movement. We helped found First Draft in 2015 and helped launch initiatives like Election Land in 2016 with ProPublica and many others to check whether people were having problems to access voting stations in the United States on election day. And we also supported other initiatives like Crosscheck in France that was mentioned earlier by Farida. Also similar activities in the UK with Full Fact and Germany with Corrective. And this is a significant shift in the way journalists are working together in the rise of misinformation. And I think that journalists in Mexico, they understood this. And this bodes well for the future of journalism collaboration in Latin America. That's why we're also supporting a big coalition in Brazil called Projeto Comprova. This is a massive effort from 24 news organizations in Brazil. They're all electing one representative that will be part of a virtual newsroom. And this virtual newsroom will check every day thousands of stories, and they will be able to debunk those that have the biggest potential to become viral. But also something that's really important, this is something that First Draft defends really well, the moment to be strategically silent. Sometimes it's also better not to give publicity to a piece of rumor that's flying around because not a lot of people are paying attention. And if you give publicity to this, if you give visibility, then it becomes viral. But there's only one way to do this, and there is coordination between the platforms and the news organizations to do this kind of effort. So really proud to be a supporter of this. You can see that there are other organizations, Facebook, Twitter, Stacker, Newswhip, Harvard, the National Newspaper Association, and it's being coordinated by the Brazilian Investigative Journalism Association in Brazil with support from First Draft. So really, really proud supporter of this. I want to just take a moment to reflect on this, and I'm going to leave you with this. This might be a simple picture, but it's not. This is the launch day in Brazil for the Comprova project. During the biggest journalism conference in Brazil, representatives, the chief editors and partners of the 24 organizations, they took the main stage to show that they're together in this. And I think this shows that we're we're in a turning point, beyond an inflection point, I think, for these kinds of initiatives in Brazil. Two of the biggest countries in Latin America, they have set the precedent that this is possible. The news organizations, they can collaborate in the rise of misinformation. And if we are to have any chance to fight misinformation, we need to do this together. And Comprova and Verificado are examples that we can do this in a way that's very distinct from elsewhere in the world. Verificado worked for Mexico, and we were understanding to see what were the particularities in that. Comprova is a project that works in Brazil. And I'm really excited to do this more and appreciate this opportunity to collaborate with you. I know next year there's going to be elections in Argentina. I know Juan here will be very busy, and you can count with us to support your initiative. So thank you very much.